Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host. As you know, we're nearing October. We're nearing for November, if you will, as a major political situation that we're in at this point in time. However, we've got to continue to do business, right? But we're going to be there for you. So just hang in there with us. And so come October, that's when we're going to really get into the whole political process aspect of it. So we're going to be talking about the local politicians and the national stuff and whatever. But I think we can take you through the jungle, if you will. Because as you know, we're trying to clean the swamp too at the same time. Now, so what we're going to do today is that we're going to do something for veterans today. And as you know, I'm constantly reaching out to vets under the program of No Oregon Vets Left Behind. Those are some of the things that I'm doing, and then besides the other things that I do beyond that point. So what we're going to do today is that I've got a guest with me today that will probably focus on an area that it seems as though there might possibly be an end to the program. There's always been a program, but the idea is that you hear this business about real estate and no money down type of routine, and do you qualify, don't you qualify? There's all sorts of people on the tube nowadays. There are all sorts of realtors that are knocking on your door. There are all sorts of lenders knocking on your door. There's all kinds of people knocking on your door. Well, I tell you what we're going to do. I found someone that we're going to ask those questions and see whether or not, and it's a she. She happens to be Creole too. I mean, I'm Creole, but she's from Croatia, but I'm from Louisiana. But the bottom line, she speaks French. She speaks Creole. Okay? Well, Creole and French are a little different, but it's basically, as long as you know the verb subject or the subject verb. Just either one of those deals. But anyway, I've got Diane Labant, Labant, and from where I come from, it's Labranche, L-A-N-B-R-A-N-C, something like that. But I've got relatives along that particular line. But she's got quite a background, and I was just so fortunate to have that. And she happens to be one of my neighbors. And boy, I tell you, so it was kind of neat when I met her and her husband Bruce, and he's a builder developer type. Correct. And so he's a very interesting guy, and so he's got good background too. So I got in discussion with him, and then boom, and then I got in touch with her because she's out there in the field. She's knocking on doors and doing good things. But the thing that I was really impressed after we got to chatting was that she reaches out to vets. She gets very much involved in basically getting out to vets and doing some things. She wants to do this. And that's just a personal kind of a thing that she wants to do. Because a lot of us are out there saying, what can we do for vets? And a lot of times it's not just the average person looking for a living out of reaching out to vets. It's someone that maybe, look, I may have I have some time. And maybe sometimes I may be able to, maybe sometimes I'm servicing folks within whatever kind of business that I'm doing or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's not, quote, their 90% mainstay as far as employment is concerned. So that's the kind of a person that I was looking for, and I just happened to find a neighbor. So welcome aboard, neighbor.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is Diane, and like I said, we're going to spend a couple minutes and talk to her about that. And she's done a number of things in the area of reaching out to vets. I think that's when we talked about that
that's
part.
Right.
And she's been inviting me over to certain things. Like we had another guy over here that had dogs. He was working with guide dogs.
Yes, guide dogs.
Ovi is a good friend of mine, and he was here also too. So kind of like in the same category aspect of it. So now we got a Diane here now. So I know them both. In fact, I might have them both on at one time.
That'd be great.
That'd be neat. Okay. Well, Diane, a little background on yourself.
So I think one of the first things we spoke about was feeling a calling to help our veterans.
Yeah.
Whether they're active military or veterans of any age, any era. And I can't quite remember how I got involved. Obviously, I come from a military family.
Right, military.
My brother is a Marine.
A Marine? Oh, I wonder why did I... Okay.
How'd you know that?
I don't know. Michael, I think.
Yes. And then my father and my grandfather were in the Army.
Okay, good.
And so I'm not quite sure how I got this great calling, and someone had mentioned to me that there were some World War II veterans that wanted to go and see their memorial. Since the World War II memorial in Washington, D.C. was only built in the last 20, 30 years.
Vietnam Memorial?
It's the World War II Veterans Memorial.
Okay, all right, good. Okay.
And the massive majority of World War II veterans had never been there. And someone had created this group about 20 years ago called Honor Flight.
Okay.
And it's where we send the World War II veterans back to their memorial at no cost to them.
Interesting.
And people get concerned because of the age of our World War II veterans, but they have medical staff that flies on the same plane.
Really?
These are all volunteers.
Wow.
Stay in the same hotel. Every veteran has a guardian that can be maybe one of their children or a friend, or if you want to become a vet or a guardian, we can help facilitate that.
Wow. So this is an organization.
It is a huge organization nationwide, but the one in Portland, Oregon is one of the few that I know of that's still around.
Really?
So there are probably, I would guess there's probably about 8,000 veterans in Oregon that still either don't know about the organization or have not been advised that this is free.
Okay.
All they have to do is apply.
And you're targeting World War II.
World War II vets right now.
It's good. Yeah, older guys.
We want to get them all first.
Okay, good.
But I will say, if someone is a Vietnam or Korean vet and they are terminally ill, they get bumped to the front of the line also. So we treat them just like a World War II vet and take them on the trip also.
How often do they do that? How you
Twice a year.
Twice a year?
Twice a year.
How many as far as the count, the
there's
numbers?
about 35 veterans on every trip.
35 veterans. Awesome.
And if you're ever interested, you could probably, you can look on honorflightportland.org.
Honorflightportland.org. Maybe I'll get Michael to maybe put that together. Honorflightportland.org. Okay, and they'll give you sort of...
And it has all the information, when the flights are, how you can sign up, how you can donate, how you can volunteer.
Awesome.
And it has everything I can think of that you would need on there.
Okay.
And it has pictures of the previous ones. We lay one of the local sponsors sponsors the event, where our World War II veteran, whoever has chosen to become the person, they walk the wreath up to the unknown soldier.
Wow.
They become part of the ceremony. That's just in addition. That's one of the many things they do when they're back there.
And these are vets from all over the country during that particular time, right?
No, they fly. Every area flies their veterans at different times.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So there could be 7 trips of World War II veterans there at the same time from different areas all over the United States.
What about Portland, Oregon?
We fly our own group twice a year. We have so many.
Like when? What months?
We usually do March and September.
March and September. March and September for the Portland, Oregon. Actually, is it Salem, Oregon, Washington?
It is. It's 14 counties, and I would call it my group, but our group.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh wow.
14 counties, and if you aren't from one of those counties and you're still interested, we can help you facilitate finding the correct group.
Okay.
And we almost all know each other.
Ah, okay.
And then one of my favorite parts is all the vets think everything is over. It's been a very long 4-day, 3-night trip. They're coming home. Then the pilot of the airplane comes on and says, "Mail call." And it says their name. They have no idea this is coming.
Really? Wow.
We have people from different schools, the veterans, friends and family, strangers, write all these love letters to them about how they changed the history of the United States and the world.
Wow.
And they have no idea. So this is...
Everybody gets something.
Everybody gets at least about 20, 25 letters.
Really? Wow. Each?
Each.
Wow, that's huge.
That's one of those behind the scenes things that happens.
Okay.
That happens all year. That you're getting
Wow.
people.
That's really good. And what about families? Do you get a
We
family?
reach out to the families.
Wife or something.
We reach out to the family, and they usually reach out to
one person, kind of deal with the vet.
Oh, usually at the vet they get a guardian, a guardian that could be
a family member?
It could be family, but usually it's going to be someone of a different age. Yes, because you're going to be pushing someone.
Yes.
In a wheelchair, whether they.
In fact, there it is.
That's us.
That is right there. He's got
That's us. Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't that neat?
It's amazing.
Yeah, you can talk to that. Yeah. See. Yeah. Right.
We've had a gentleman who went, and his son came back and told the story about how his father, and almost all of these vets have never told their stories until they go to D.C. and have the opportunity to tell their story.
Wow.
It is life-altering for these veterans and their families.
I take it our congressional delegation would probably be alerted.
They're there.
They are there.
We invite them, and they all come.
Okay.
It's amazing how many people go.
Look at that. That is.
And I believe Ron Wyden makes a book for them.
Ron Wyden does? Okay,
yes.
Ron does. Senator Wyden. Wow. I know he's very active anyway. You know, he'll get out.
And he may even be in some of those pictures.
www.portlandhonorflight.org. Wow.
That's
cool. And then that's for instance, if they don't have access to the internet or whatever, what about a phone number of some sort? Is there a contact person?
There is a phone number.
You happen to have that by chance?
They could always call me. I did not know that one by heart, but they're more than welcome to call me.
Okay, good. Let's put that number down. He's got that number too. Just put that number down below on that.
Oh, there was Ron Wyden too.
You got Ron Wyden? Yeah, Ron.
You just saw him.
He was there? You saw him?
Yeah, anyone can call me and I will find them the right group.
Okay, cool.
Cool. I'm always happy to help.
Oh, that's great.
This is one of my,
that's
definitely.
That's the major one.
And I have to give a great shout out that Canby Rodeo got involved, down 25 minutes south, Canby Rodeo got involved in this. On a fluke one time, they said, well, we want to honor our World War II vets.
Okay.
They have an entire event at the rodeo. They stopped this professional rodeo that's on TV and give a big shout out to the vets. And they raised, I was just told last night, they raised $12,000 at the last rodeo for this 30-second.
Wow.
Does anyone want to contribute to fly the vets back?
And then they passed the hat?
They made enough to fly, I'd say, about half of all the people that wanted to go in less than 3 minutes.
Wow.
So Canby Rodeo, thank you very much.
Is that the first time around? They did that?
They started this 3 years ago. They asked us to come out, just want to honor the vets, and did a pass the hat. And then the first year, I think, besides Canby Rodeo, the organization itself donating, and the fans, these were just the fans at the rodeo, they raised enough to send the entire flight, and the waiting list became null and void.
Wow.
From that one little.
Yeah, put a name with that, will you, Mike? Diane Labant.
You just don't know the change that you can have in 30 seconds.
Wow,
it's amazing.
Isn't something? Wow. You know, and that's the neat thing about it. You know, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I mean, this country, I mean, how patriotic folks are, but recognizing the vets, I mean, that's awesome. And a lot of these guys are pretty well at home, you know, and nowhere to go, so to speak. Take them out of their homes, and those 4 days or so, and even a couple of days before that, you know, just probably orientate them to go in there, because probably when you sign them up, right?
Yep.
You talk to them and talk to their family members and all this, that, and the other, and put all those goodies together, and when they get there, they're just treated like, wow.
They are treated like royalty.
Wow.
And they can't understand why they're treated so well.
Wow.
They're like, I'm just a humble, you know, I just did my duty.
Yes,
and we're like, well, you changed the world.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. And then, like you said, the Canby Rodeo piece.
Who knew?
Now, how often do they go around Canby? How many radios?
Well, the Canby Rodeo is the third week in August.
Third week in
August.
Okay.
It's a
biggie.
PRCA rodeo, so just be like the ones you'd see on TV. It's just in Canby, Oregon.
Yep.
Same athletes, same stock. It's crazy that it's
you had
here.
invited us on it, but I was busy.
That's okay. We'll invite you again.
Next time around, I'm going. I'll be down there.
Oh, we'll love to have you.
We'll check that out. If I can get the Buffalo Soldier uniform on it. You know, work that out.
Come on down.
Get that stuff together. Yes, it's in August, right?
It is in August.
Good.
Third week in August.
Okay, good. That's something. Third week in August, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, maybe contact you again.
Oh, please. Yep. I'd be happy to give you any information you ever wanted.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Wow. Now, what else? I mean, that's huge in itself. Anything else that you're doing as far as vets are concerned?
I served on the Multnomah County Task Force for Homeless Veterans.
Okay.
Someone had invited me to go there. I think my boss, Stuart Babicki at Synergy Restoration, he was a big advocate for vets, and he was running late. He said, would you go to this meeting? Now, I had no idea what this meeting was. I went there, was the only person that wasn't a government employee at the meeting, and they were desperately searching for these specific things. And I said, oh, I can do that. And they just couldn't believe it. And they had two other things, and I said, well, I can do that too.
Okay.
I don't think they were very believing in the beginning, but I said, oh, I can do that.
Okay.
So I got involved with Pete Pringle, and he was doing the East County Stand Down. So it is where any veteran that's living on the street or close to being on the street can get a haircut. His animals, his dogs, can get. Banfield comes and donates their services.
Wow.
They can come and get their hair cut. I'm trying to remember the name of the lady that does that. They can get a hepatitis test. They can get a new suit. They can get water, food. And then Diane McKeel, her husband was a dentist. He would bring the whole dental van, and you could get your teeth pulled or whatever you needed.
Wow.
And the amount of services there were crazy. If you needed some simple tools. Wow. And then, of course, you also got a backpack, new pair of shoes, T-shirt, socks. And then you got fed for the day.
Wow.
So there were a lot of services there. We're having another one in October out at Troutdale.
Oh, who does this?
Really,
or is this just another outsider?
I think this is just a group of fun people that
wants to put something together.
The Red Cross is part of it. U.S. Bank is part of it.
Okay. So you guys are
people that like to come together.
So you guys organize this stuff.
Yeah.
Is there under what brand? What brand? What's the name?
It's called the East County Stand Down.
East County Stand Down.
Yep.
Okay. So boy, you getting to be you a heck of a resource.
I like to do that part.
Okay. Good. Well, now you're on the No Vets Left Behind Oregon team.
Oh, I love that.
And then the idea is that we will bring those folks on. That'll be your charge. We'll bring these people on, and then we'll educate them about accessing those kinds of services.
Oh, and yes, I can definitely...
So get the East Side folks together. Whoever's ready, whoever's going to be the spokesperson, contact them. We'll bring them on here, and then we'll also bring 2 or 3 of the other services folks that are involved, and then we can announce that on an ongoing basis.
I'll be happy to. And they would love that.
Is that right? Well, good.
They want to get the word out.
We got a deal.
I'm in.
All right.
Sign me up.
You signed up.
I'm signed up.
Boy, I tell you, this is us all right. As long as Bruce says it's okay, right?
I don't know. I guess so.
He's involved too. He
does everything. He does anything I say we're doing.
Another Bruce. Okay, go on.
We have a picnic for the National Guard, and I don't know how this group got around. It was just the people that wanted to help and reach out to the National Guard, Camp Withicum, and they said, we would love to have some events for families. So we said, we'll have a barbecue.
Yes.
And they said there's 300 in these 2 little companies.
Right.
So we'll have hamburgers, hot dogs.
Yeah.
Where we're going to have it?
Yeah.
We'll find a place.
Wow.
Found a place, had the whole
Bruce
event.
was doing that. Bruce was part of the deal.
Bruce, he's our cook.
Yep, good. He likes to cook.
Yes, and then we have another Bruce. He also helps.
Wow.
And people just show up. People that, when you're, good people.
Yeah.
And I would just reach out to friends. My friend Julianne Spears, she said, well, I'll buy the hamburger.
Wow.
And then my friend Marianne Collins says, I have a portable barbecue.
Wow.
And then it just kind of...
just did it.
It just rolls from there.
Together. That's awesome. Now you got active vets there.
We do.
That's
and so many times, yes, and their families.
And their families, yeah.
We make it family friendly. We have games for the children.
Oh, wow.
We have face painting.
That's awesome.
I mean, we have a lot of activities, food.
Wow.
And it's just a bunch of people that want to thank their military, and they just come together and make it happen.
Wow, that's a great deal. Well, gee whiz, we can get this other person involved now because from Norma's Kitchen, we get Norma's Kitchen involved. See,
we know them.
Yeah, I think we know them, right?
We know them.
And then we'll put both of those folks together, right?
Yes.
Bruce and Norma, right?
Yes.
The other Bruce and Norma.
2 Bruces.
Two Bruces.
2 other Bruces and a Norma.
2 other Bruces, And that's right. And then a Diane and a Norma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'm not a cook, but
but she'll get together.
she can tell me what to do.
Put that menu together, whatever. Put that seasoning on there, and no problem, right? Norma's Kitchen. Everybody's been trying to get her to open it, so maybe maybe she'd enjoy that. That's not opening every day, you know.
No, it's only once or twice a year.
Once or twice a year.
And then we'll have another
fun deal.
Yes, we'll do it.
Fun deal. I like that's a good idea. Well, hey, that's kind of neat. That's a really neat. You got some good concepts, good ideas. Give me some other things. I mean, I know you're active.
Not too much. I do work.
Yeah.
And I do, as you know, fitness shows.
Right.
So I was going to do one in October, but that'll be November. So I do have a light outside of all that stuff. But
now, fitness show. Wait, what do you do with that? What's up?
So there's different shows. It used to be years ago that they had only had women bodybuilders, but since that whole sport has changed, and there's divisions now. There's bikini girls, figure girls, physique girls, and women's bodybuilding. So it's all how just being toned and athletic, and you can either do a routine or not. Started doing that just a couple years ago. It helps me keep active and healthy.
So you're doing that? That's with another group.
I do that by myself.
Just by yourself?
By myself. I have a trainer.
You have a trainer. You have a trainer.
I have a trainer.
This is just you and the trainer.
Yeah, and she's in New Jersey.
Oh, she's in New Jersey. So you fly back to Jersey?
No, she just tells me what to do every day. She sends me an email and says, "This is what you're doing today."
Gee whiz. Well, maybe we might be able to get those women Marines and women military.
Well, this woman could have been a Marine.
Oh, is that right? She's tough. She's
tough.
She
is tough.
She's tough?
She is tough.
I mean, she just gives the orders, big time.
Yes.
Oh.
She scares me a little. Like a drill sergeant.
Because I want to make sure that we get women involved. You know, they were former women, naturally, in the military. And I'm sure, as far as going back to Washington.
3 of our last group. 3. So at
women.
the Camden Rodeo, 3 out of our last, I think there were 11 or 12 World War II vets, and 3 of them at the Canby Rodeo were women.
Really? Wow. Ooh, this is great. This is awesome. Diane, this is just awesome. I think we're going to really be able to do something along that.
We're going to do many things.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do now. We're going to go on and take a short break. And want to thank you for being here with us in this point. We got a lot to do, right?
Yes.
We got our orders now. We know we're going to be working together. And Oregon Voters Digest, you'll be part of the group, so to speak.
I'm excited. I really am.
We're going to put you out of the group, and then that way we'll put it under kind of a deal and just really get things going, get folks involved.
I like to get folks involved.
I know that she's very, and a good neighbor too, by the way. Good neighbor, definitely a good neighbor. Appreciate that. Diane, it's going to be a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here.
Sounds great, Diane. Okay, folks, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with the rest of the show. Take care.
You are watching Oregon Voters Digest. This program can be seen again on these channels on these dates and times. Tell a friend. Okay, look like we are back. Again, I'm Bruce Broussard, your host today, and
I hope you enjoyed the first half hour. If you missed that first half hour for you vets, hey, tune in. And we've got the schedule there, but you can get it on YouTube now. It's running live. It's running live on YouTube, and so that's kind of a neat deal. Well, now we're going to get in the second half hour of our show. We're going to probably be doing a number of things for vets in the future, but at least half of those hours we're going to be trying to get to current event stuff. We got an area that we all need to be concerned about. We got a big election come November, and you know we're all talking about the presidential issues with CNN and Fox and this, that, and the other, and it can really be very stressful. And so then we got the local races now. We've got some runoffs that we're gonna have to deal with here come November, and we've got from the city of Portland. We got this historical race between Joanne Bowman and Joanne Hardesty and Loretta Smith, and both happen to be Black African Americans, and that's kind of an interesting piece. And then we've got the county the county auditors having a runoff. That's kind of interesting. Against Stern and whatever, we might be able to get some of those guys, those folks on. But we got a runoff with those folks. And then we got the governor's race. That's a huge race around the state aspect of it. And then there are a number of other races, if you will. And then naturally we got the presidential situation, because everybody's going to be looking at the numbers as far as the House. Every 2 years, House members, our congressional House members, run, and so consequently there's a big issue there. And I'm sure we can be able to draw some of the leading forces that can talk about that. But at the end of the day, the major concerns that we're here for with the Oregon Voters Digest is who's going to be bringing in the meat. Who's going to bring the meat to the table here for Oregon to better our way of life. So it's not going to be just any fluff that we want. We want people who are going to be elected that will respond to the betterment of our way of life.
Right on.
And that's a very, very, very important piece. We got education issues, we got mental health issues. I mean, we got it all. I mean, and you know, as a voter, you can spend just so much and have so much, and things are getting tough. And this is a free country worldwide, and so consequently, people are moving here. They're finally discovering Oregon, and guess what? Everything is going up because you know it's not about restricting in terms of how much you want to pay for a piece of property or buy a piece of property. It's, you know, hey. It's the old golden rule. He who has the gold rule. So,
that's right.
So it goes the way it is. So the bottom line is that we're having some tough times right now, but when I say tough, is that we're going through some changing time aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So saying that, I've got Bob Williams here with me right here, Bob. And you've seen Bob before. We've been around together for 15, 20 years.
Yes.
I've been around here 40 years a bit, but the bottom line, Bob has been here. He's got quite a background, and that's why I've got him here today. He's got, besides the real estate aspect of it, he got a major background in the job arena, because he worked for the unions, and he retired, if you will, from one of the major unions here in the state of Oregon, and then he's quite a golfer too. I mean, I wanted to be a part of the game, and I told him I've never done this before, but maybe if they gave me about 5 strokes per hole, I think I might be able to do this. I mean.
Never happened.
With that introduction, you know, I'm getting down to the point I'm going to quit talking and get Bob involved in the piece. But you're going to see Bob and we're going to be talking about it, and he's got a major political background, and that's what makes the goodie of it all too. I tend to come up on the conservative side, he comes on the liberal side, but at the end of the day, we just want what's right.
That's it.
And we just want what's right, and so it's going to be a pleasure having him on, and you may see him sometimes doing the host, if you will, on some of those shows, because
next week.
Yep, next week. It's going to be next week. I'm going to be out of town next week, so you're going to see Bob, and hopefully we're going to try to get some heavyweights.
I have
who you got going? Who you got going? Thinking about
I have
week?
Jeff Anderson.
Jeff Anderson.
He's the Secretary Treasurer of United Food and Commercial Workers.
Okay.
Most people know it as UFCW Local 555.
Okay.
He's also serves as the chair of the Northwest Oregon Labor Council, which is the council that brings all the unions together, such as the AFL-CIO, which does the same thing. And he chairs an organization that deals in working families. Working families. Cool. And so he's very active. I've known Jeff ever since I became a union rep.
Right, that's good.
And he's going to have some very interesting things to talk about.
That's good. And I think that's a very important piece, too, because we have to talk about jobs.
Yes.
And things are changing, if you will. And even from the union perspective of it, and because of the politics of it all, that on the other side, they're basically dealing with issues with reference to actually the union dues. I mean, I think that's
right.
But my point is that the idea is that you'll get clarity. You'll get the rationale as to why they're doing that now, and then maybe we might be able to discuss the other side of the coin, and if we can find someone else in the future that can kind of talk to that part. Whether it be AGC, Associated General.
During the course of the week, I'm trying to reach out to ASME. And Stacy, and I can't think of her last name.
Okay, cool.
See if she'll be available to show up. But,
good.
You know, I want people to understand the public and and the private side of unions, and well, I call it labor.
Yes.
And what they do for workers.
Right.
It's not an individual thing. It's not about them. It's about workers.
Right.
And it's amazing how management and ownership has taken the worker and got them to work against themselves. I.e., management owners and managers, their job is quote unquote to bring in the profit. Now it's a few ways you can bring in a profit. Now we're not going to stay on this subject, but i.e. cut the wages of the worker. You make a profit. Don't give them benefits, health care, pension. You make a profit. You know, all those things takes away from the profit side of things. And so if you can get the worker to have to pay for their own medical or pay a portion of it, every nickel or dime they spend, you know, and what most people don't understand about raises when you're a union worker is that the employer comes and say, here's how much money I'm willing to spend on your work, on the workers. How do you want to distribute that? Well, some go to your medical, some goes to your pension plan, some goes to you. You know, but a non-union employer, he says, hey, I'm giving you a quarter. So, you know, you get a quarter raise, Uncle Sam takes 30%. You know, and bingo, there you are.
Yeah, that's it.
So, so all of these things we're going to talk about next week, so that people will begin to understand what does unions do for workers. Good. And like I said, we'll get into some of the employers. Yes. Who can represent maybe regardless. I mean, there's some entities out there that could represent it. I know one of which is, and when you start thinking about construction and government work, if you will, highway and stuff like that. AGC is a biggie, big component. They identified, i.e., with that end of the market, so to speak, quite a bit, and it would be good. And sometimes they even have, I can still remember when I was involved with them back in those days when there were joint meetings, if you will, and i.e., trying to educate one another. I mean, I don't know whether they do that anymore today, but that was a good kind of a meeting. Because when you think about it, when even when you build something, a lot of times employers, i.e. employers, let's say a builder, might say, well, this is what I have to work with, and they'll just kind of basically build a project on the table. And then once they come out with that building, they call all kinds of folks out there to figure out what's going to be my cost for this, material costs, labor costs, and this, that, and the other. And at that point in time, they either negotiate depending upon where that labor force is all. Because they're looking for good labor to get the thing done, and someone that can say, okay, fine, if I get it done in such and such a time, I can do this much. And then at the end of the day, they figure out, say, well, my conservative view is that this is how much money I can make. I can make 6% on the job. It's not no 20 or 30%. That doesn't work that way. You got me? Because it's so competitive out there to begin with. And so the employee the person who was doing that said, well, okay, fine, I can do it this way. And they build that building on the deal. And they pretty well it's a fixed kind of a deal for all across the board. So that's when that negotiation happens a lot. If you will. Well, I understand that from being on the board of directors of TriMet. You know, and the fact that we had some contracts where if you finished early, you got a bonus for it. Because we were able to make money earlier. You know, if you finished late, you paid a penalty. because you held us up. You know, things of this nature, as schools being built in Clackamas, you know, some of those things went on out there.
Right.
So all of these things about labor we'll get into next week.
Good.
And sorry you won't be here. But
no, indirectly I will.
Oh, that's true.
Because I do take the piece. You know, I'll be.
Not only that, it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. I'll be watching, and I may call.
I know.
Wait a minute. I'll have another show situation. In fact, when you think about that, I'm thinking about from a local standpoint, like the Portland Public Schools. We just went through a bond measure. Remember that one?
Yes.
We went through this bond measure, and in fact, even at the Voters Digest, we objected to the guy, either team at the school district that was a point person for that deal. You can't deal with professional entrepreneurs, whether it be the labor group or the builder group, if you don't have some expertise that knows exactly what each of these individuals are.
They call that getting taken.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's natural.
Yeah.
So you got to know. It's not about them volunteering you if you made a mistake. You go, they sign the contract, and you got to stick with that contract.
That's right.
So who gets hurt? The voters. The people who have to pay it, whether they put more taxes on your household or this or that, and so it gets crazy. So it's very, very important that we understand what that's all about, and that's what we're going to try to do here on the Oregon Voters Digest here with Bob's expertise background and in all due respect, my end of it, because I was in that business for a minute. We're going to get some discussion as to prevent that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because right now they're short some $100 and some odd million bucks for the project. And then I just read the other day, again, here we go again. Oh, I think we can find some money over here. Wait a minute. If you're finding money
there's
over here,
no lost money.
That's right.
Ain't no such thing as lost money.
There's no lost money. But then they say, well, we can find it over here in this, but wait a minute. Well, I just got through getting taxed for this deal, i.e. for the education piece, and yet still you guys are saying you can find all kind of, and you're asking me for more money at the schools. At the schools. Well, hey, something's wrong here.
Right.
So maybe we might be able to get that information from maybe the gubernatorial candidates, because as you know, we went away from the system where the superintendent of schools was an elected position, right?
Right.
Now we got the governor, basically, the governor, whoever appointed, and then so consequently we're going to maybe get the governor's office to get in this role, because that situation in Portland was totally unnecessary. That was totally unnecessary because from the governor's standpoint, she's got to identify from her budget. I think was it 30% of the deal of the budget. Well, 30% of the budget is for education. 30 or 40% up in that area. See what I'm saying? So she should have had access. Well, in this particular case, the governor's office should have had access to that number when they came up with that number here at Portland Public Schools.
Well, you know, one of the things that I look at, and playing this role in politics for a long time, is that you have to have competent people around you because you don't know it all. And when they come to you with the project and they tell you what the cost is and what we need to do to raise the money and there's this amount of money, that's what you expect.
Exactly.
You know, you have to have confidence in your staff.
Exactly.
And so the governor don't go out and check numbers.
No.
She's got a staff that does that.
That's right.
And my attitude is a simple one. If you go bring me something fictitious or wrong, you don't need to be in the position you're in.
That's right.
It's not the governor's fault. It's the person that the governor has there. Change that.
Right. But the governor is responsible to the taxpayers.
That's right.
The people who are paying it.
As somebody once said, the buck stops here.
That's right. So we've got a lot of things to talk about. And so hopefully we're going to take advantage of getting those two gubernatorial candidates, one of which is the incumbent, and the other one is the legislature, because that meant they were in part of the process too. And I'm talking about those two individuals. I'm talking about in Bueller, in Newt, Representative Newt Bueller, and National Governor Kate Brown. And then there's another independent candidate. I think this guy, his name was Patrick Stern or something like that, with the independent party. It was kind of interesting how he was able to get at the table to be recognized as a viable candidate, because we have so many parties now.
I know.
And, it's so. But the two key people will be both the Newt Bueller and Kate Brown, the governor aspect of it. So hopefully we're going to get someone that we will be able to just talk about this, because that's a serious issue at the school district.
Right.
And then hopefully we might be able to get someone from the school district to come up here. The chair, with the chair of the school district. Somebody, anyway, but I happen to know it, but right off the bat, But anyway, the bottom line is that's a serious issue.
Right.
I want to know. I want to go beyond the point of saying, well, now you found the money. Found what money? And what money were we talking about? Is it something that you pull from here that you've taxed?
As they say, stealing from Peter to pay Paul.
That's right. I mean,
now we're going to have a shortfall over here eventually.
See, because my attitude right off the bat is that what you got and what you said, that's what we're going to get. If you have to cut down the project, boom, you cut down the project and do the job. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, you fire that staff immediately and get someone that can communicate. I'll go back to those two entities and see whether or not they might renegotiate for you.
Or did you overspend on the two projects that you've completed?
That's what I'm talking about, see? You got my point? So who's managing the store?
That's it.
Right, you got me? Because I know the school board, the school people who are elected to the school board have no background. I've not seen a contractor up there yet. I don't know of any contractor that's sitting up there. That's sitting at our present school board for Portland Public Schools, and I think I remember when Steve Dunn, when we was talking about that bond deal, he had a public meeting where his no vote. I mean, he on Channel 2, they had a public meeting aspect of it, and then I saw that. You can Google it. Go back when they put that bond deal. You can Google that show, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You got people sitting around the table, have no inkling about what's going on, but they were guaranteeing that, hey, look here, this is what it's going to cost. And blah 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 blah. This is all we're going to need. And it was a record. It was a record dollar figure as far as the bond was concerned. And they were talking about futures and all this, that, and the other. But hey, at the end of the day, I'm a taxpayer. I'm paying for this stuff, and we got to have competent folks on that.
Well, and not only that, you voted for it.
Yes.
And the question becomes, did they undercut so you would vote for it?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well,
and on that same note, you was great because early on, and somebody read a number of the quote folks who were going to be benefiting from this bond measure were wanting to say, look, why don't we pay for some of the advertising? They wanted to pay for some of the ads. They had ads. Well, that's about money. That's like extra money.
Yeah. Why not put that money towards the project?
That's right. That's right. See, they knew.
Yeah.
But see, but that's what that negotiation is all about. You got to have somebody to negotiate, and I can't fault them.
No.
I got to fault either the chair of the board, whoever's responsible, and in all due respect, indirectly, the governor's office. That governor is supposed to know because they're the head superintendent. Everything that happens in the state of Oregon, as it relates to education,
should go through the superintendent.
They got to have a sign off. They should have a sign off on anything of that. So meaning that was like a check and balance. Like you mean you'd have an entity that focuses on one thing. Those areas where they're talking about building new structures and what goes in the classroom. Because all due respect, they should have more money going into the classroom, if you will, with teachers and this, that, and the other, as opposed to these structures. That's one.
Well, one of the things that happens with and I know that money comes, as they say, in buckets.
Yes, yes.
And this bucket of money is for this.
Yes.
And this bucket of money is for something else.
Yes.
And on that school bond issue, I think it was for building.
Yes.
It wasn't for infrastructure, i.e. students, class, teachers, and all of that.
That's right.
There's something different for that. So the question becomes, how is it that you missed your target by over $100 million?
Right.
That's the question.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yes. And then I think, and the other thing I might add too is that Jefferson High School was not even part of the project.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting also too.
Jefferson, as you know, is probably still up in the air as to whether they want to try and do something to get it to become PCC.
Yeah, well, PCC is trying to buy it. That's what the deal is.
Yeah.
But hey,
history.
But again, I'm sure if we were sitting at the board, we'd talk about this. I'll say, well, fine. Well, I tell you what, we'll give our students an opportunity to pick up an associate degree while the school is there. Work a deal.
Right.
So when they graduate from high school, they got a trade because they pull voc ed out of the schools. They playing the game with the little one here, one there, whatever. But the fact of it is, every kid should be given an opportunity with voc ed.
Right.
You got me? But that's not happening.
No.
But again, it talks about.
I went to a vocational school.
Oh, same here with me.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, the people who are representing haven't had it.
Right.
Just like military. Both of us former military, but we don't have a draft anymore today.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? So anyway, that's a good deal. Now we got about another good 15 minutes at the most. So we want to let's just pick one of the races right now. Like I say, folks, we're going to be talking about a number of things in the coming future aspect of it, and we are going to definitely try to go through and focus on some of the highlight situation on some of the races here in Oregon. And it just so happened in Portland, which is the largest city in the state of Oregon, we're going to have, as they say, a historical event here. We got two black African Americans who are running, females, if you will, running, and there will be an African American black woman sitting on the school district.
Oh no, on the city commission.
Oh, gee whiz, boy, look, it got me already.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling as if they need to take the charge too.
Take over everything.
Take everything. See? But we got to get something going. But anyway, it's going to be neat. Two unique ladies.
Yes.
They're both unique ladies. As far as I'm concerned, one knows more about grassroots than the other.
Right.
And all due respect, Joanne Bowman is Joanne Hardesty. Boy, that Joanne Bowman, she gets me all the time on that same piece. But anyway, Hardesty is very, very, very active in the community. Has done a number of things with with all kinds of things, the NAACP and the like, and the police and just grassroots folks.
Right.
People out there struggling, the ones that we need to really respond to. Homeless, she's done that kind of stuff. And on the other hand, in all due respect, in the same vein, Loretta Smith has been very instrumental, if you will, in working with Congress, bringing some of the meat home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And through with the major sponsor, which is Ron Whiten. I mean, to be able to have access.
She has access to people that can get it done.
Get it done from that perspective, the money aspect of it. So now, but I think it'd be interesting if we're able to get both of them at the same time, which we talked about that the last time around. And so since we've talked about that the last time around, we've been kind of looking. I've told Bob to get out there and let's look at what's going on. And but there's still some indicators. With the concern we had was that media was going to be just kind of like just pushing on the negatives for each of these individuals. And I noticed that Joanne was being hit pretty hard on some areas. And then, in all due respect, Loretta hasn't been hit yet on that piece, but they should be talking about the issues. You know what I mean? And if you felt comfortable, if you felt strong about those so-called negative issues, that should have been discussed beforehand.
Well, not only that, we're at a 5-week period before an election,
right?
And the question becomes, who are you going to vote for and why?
Right.
What do you think? I'd like to say, what is it, County Commissioner Smith,
right,
or a past state representative Hardison can do to improve the life of citizens within the area. I know as an individual there is not much because it takes a vote of the body, and so we need to make sure that there is a strong understanding by the voters and what they expect, and let your candidates know this. You know, that's one of the things that we as voters have gotten away from. We vote for you and we walk away. We allow you to do what you think we want, rather than us telling you what we want, what we hired you
to do.
Because we hired you. If you don't think you were hired, you check the check.
That's right. That's right.
You know, we hire these people to do our bidding.
Right.
You know, and so it's not my bidding because I'm a Republican or my bidding because I'm a Democrat or independent. It's the bidding of the people within the community. Right. And so for the city of Portland, what are the problems? How do you see eliminating or rectifying or doing something to make livability within the city of Portland better? The homeless issue. You know, I look at these ads that say that since Governor Brown has taken office, homeless issue has gotten worse. It's gotten worse all over the country. All over the United States, it's a problem. You know, it didn't just happen here. I also saw where a thing where it said our problem is based on 2,000 or less than 2,000 people.
I heard that number. I heard that number today on Steve Dunn's show.
1,000.
1,500. I heard that on the show today from Steve Dunn. Remember, he was interviewing.
I'm like, that's all. I don't know where they get their number because
to Portland, they're talking about 4,000 and 5,000. I mean, what's the deal here?
And so what do you as the voting public know?
Yeah.
You know that when you walk down the street, you see someone.
You see hey, you see it right here when you drive to work or you drive
That's
home.
it.
Or you get in an area where you have some camps outside of your home, and you got trash all over the place. So that's an issue.
Yeah.
What do you do about getting the trash off the streets?
And so one of my things was, and I've talked to one of the candidates, and I asked her, have you ever thought of talking to waste management and seeing if they can put canisters, the big canister out where people are congregated, you know, so they have a place to put their.
What did she say?
She said, I have not. She said, I have not. I haven't had. That was my idea. So I was asking her what did she think about that idea, and we got on another number of other subjects. And so,
but let's let's stay on that piece.
Okay.
I mean, the point of the matter is that they're running for office.
Right.
They should be aware of what's going on around them, and if that is an issue, they should have some idea of, well, quote, how do I solve the problem? Because that's what they're being paid for.
And
but to be able to say but to say that it was something that came up, we talked about it, but it's something that came up. It's not something that we should be sharing with them. It should be something from the standpoint from the public, them telling us, this is what I'm going to do about the problem.
Well, I'm one that says situations should come from the ground up, and I'm on the ground. They're sitting up here in this chair, and they're looking out, and they're going to go, well, I think if we move these people over here, well, you're not eliminating a problem, you're moving a problem.
Well, we don't want anybody like that.
And so I'm saying that's not what I want. I want someone that's, if I have an idea, tell me why my idea is wrong, why it's not as good, and work from a premise of, he's got an idea, let me see what I can do to improve that idea.
But do you think that the application process for trying to go out and find these so-called leaders, these people that are supposed to have knowledge, this, that, and the other, do you think that doesn't resonate when they file to run for office about the issues? Because the media is media's like this are supposed to say, these are the issues, and you can read about it, blah, blah, blah. When they come and sign up.
When was the last time you saw an issue on homelessness in here? I went online to look, and back in July, I think it was May or July, somewhere around in there, there was a statement made by one of the candidates about Wapato. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Oh no,
but they said
we brought it here.
Yeah, but they said idiots are trying. One of them said idiots are trying to move the homeless to a jail.
To a jail. Well, everybody was. There were certain groups around that said they didn't want to go and be no jail, even from the homeless standpoint. Homeless organizations.
It's not. My attitude is: would you rather be outside in the elements in November, December, and January, or would you rather be in a building with heat, running water, opportunity to eat 3 meals a day, that has never been used as a jail, that can be redefined for a certain period, not a full-fledged camp, but a place to house people for a period of time.
Well, Bob, in all due respect, we at Oregon Voters Digest spent a lot of time talking about
I was here sometime.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we had Don DuPay, we had the former individuals who were there when it was built. We spent a lot of hours on this deal. And in all due respect, the building does exist in District Number 2. That's Loretta Smith's seat. Okay,
right,
District
on the county commission.
She's been there 8 years. And something should have been, had you been there, I know if I'd been there, I would have talked about the issue. That should have been an issue that they long time ago. So my point is that is a major issue.
Right.
And I know that just recently, after having run that last time, the fact it was an issue, and she took she got involved as a result of the media piece.
Right.
And there was a whole different. I mean, the worst thing was that taxpayers. It cost them about $100 million
over
on the table, and they sold it for $5 million.
Right.
Excuse the print, that would never have happened on my watch if I was there, and it's just a sad note. But my point is that, and she went through the process, but at the end of the day, the building's gone. We've lost something like $90 million to the taxpayers, and it still exists. That's what my point is that if she is running it for the city of Portland, homelessness is an issue for the city of Portland. The mayor is the mayor of the city of Portland, which is Ted Wheeler. Now, she will just be a member, and my point is that he's needing some help because you got a lot of, some of these folks on there don't have that background enough, but he's out there by himself trying to do his thing. He's got a homeless czar, and they're working with the county. My point is that here I am, I'm just a layperson, and I'm knowing some of this stuff, and it's like you were saying about the dumpsters with waste management, things like that. That makes sense. I saw it in Seattle. They were doing the same thing. The problem with the Seattle piece aspect of it, they didn't have anybody at least checking the dumpsters to make sure that they're dumping it in the dumpster and it's being picked up.
Right.
So a system of some sort. So it's there. And the thing is that those are the kinds of things that, you know, I'm not saying I know everything, but at least I read the paper.
You know, I passed 122nd and Halsey, where the old county police station used to be.
Right.
And one month I passed there, and the homeless is there. I passed yesterday. They have a fence around it. So the homeless can't get in there. You know, the building is vacant, but the homeless can't get in. Now they're all camped outside the fence. I'm like, what are we doing to better the life of all in the city of Portland and surrounding areas?
But like I said, here you're doing that, and we got two people running for office. That's what they're supposed to be talking to, and that's what we should be interviewing. And in fact, that was the last time around. I mean, both of these individuals. I went to Joanne and called her up and said, "Hey, look here, let's schedule something for you to come on the show." Well, she says, "I'm busy. You know, we're really busy, but we're going to get right back to you." Well, I've not heard anything else from that point on. Now, what about Loretta?
I've talked with Loretta. I've asked her, and she told me she would get back to me.
Right. Well, you see, that's the other thing that bugs me about it. Why is it that, in all due respect, you got, excuse the French, I think we are knowledgeable about a number of things.
Right.
And we happen to be two African American men, very much involved in politics and et cetera.
And social justice.
But on the other hand, they will go to entities like this any day of the week that they're called. Or they say, "You come down here, we want to talk to you about it." They'll be there.
Right.
But they can't come here and sit down and answer questions. Don't you think that's part and parcel? That, in fact, that's, as far as I think that's why we call it historical, because they're two black people, and I think we are.
Right. I mean, nowhere else in the history of Oregon has this taken place, to my knowledge.
Yeah, but for what? So what's the deal?
Yeah.
They're just two black women. No, there are issues too. Right. There's mental illness, you know, among the black community. That's what I'm saying about the grassroots and stuff. We got mental illness aspect of it. We're going through this whole issue of gentrification. Yeah. Well, what are they doing? How are they stopping it? What's the deal? We got housing problems aspect of it. We got police problems. I mean, so that's what I want to talk about. I'm not talking about this historical deal. I want them to be at this table, and if they are not at the table, we're going to talk just this way. Because as far as I'm concerned, right now they're still on the wrong track. And you know, we talked about this piece.
Well, the other part of that is when you see them, ask them. You're the voter. When you see them, ask them.
But they don't know the question. That's the problem.
Yes.
Look, we're at that point now. We got ready to give it up. It looked like we got going more and more. But hey, folks, as you can see, we're going to have some good wrap-ups for you. So join us next week. Bob is going to be here. He's going to chair this seat, and he's going to get that information out to you. See you next week. Take care.